You ready? Call the meeting to order. You know, it's obviously we don't have a pastor. I'm going to ask Vice Mayor Bibb to pray for us. We'll stand and then we'll recite the pledge afterward.
Pray. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to come together tonight. We pray for wisdom and guidance as we make the decisions to affect the city. Thank you for our employees and the special job they're doing now. Help them continue to get through that and just let your love be on us. And we thank you for that. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Arnold?
Here.
Alderman Bibb?
Here.
Alderman Decker?
Here.
Alderman Hudson?
Here.
Need to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
A motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We need approved minutes for the April 16th Board of Mayor and Aldermen and the May 7th study session meeting. Need a motion?
I move that we approve.
A motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Well, just welcome visitors. I think we could probably take that off our agenda nowadays, couldn't we?
There's a lot of people.
We don't have any.
Is there anybody in there?
Yeah, a lot of people on that.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. Glad to have you. I can't see you.
Thank you.
And they're making motions up here behind me, and it takes me a minute to figure out who made the motion because I can't see them.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right, public hearings. Ordinance 20-07 is an ordinance amending the zoning map from I-1 light industrial to Ncrpud neighborhood center residential plan unit development on Sage Road. Second reading. I'll open the hearing. I have no one sign up to speak, so we will close that hearing. You did take us down to the auditorium and let them see if they want to sign in.
But I have to place it right there where they
Okay.
pick up the agenda.
Okay. Communication, Alderman Hudson.
I'm good, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Cliff. Alderman Corbett.
You know, we had a library board meeting the other night, and Elizabeth went through, they're closed, but it was amazing all the stuff that they're doing and the level of participation from the folks that live here. They're actually using what little we're offering and are very appreciative of. So kudos to her and her staff.
My understanding is that they are the only library in the Red River District.
Yes, that's right.
That has done this, and Derek, we will be putting together a proclamation for our library staff.
Mm-hmm.
But beside that, kudos to all you guys, all the employees. You guys have had to do things, you've had to alternate, and Ferris acknowledged it in his prayer. Everybody here has had to alternate how they do business, and they've done it. I haven't had one single complaint. The employees are great, and hopefully when we get through this, for lack of a better term, debacle, we'll get back to business and everything, get back to normal. But you guys have done a great job, and we appreciate it.
Yep.
Alderman Decker.
I've got one observation. I was telling Pat Brady, and I said, Pat, you know, I'm so grateful for our organization, how well organized we are. After I watched de Blasio on New York City, good gracious. And so I thought that touch of humor was good, so I thought I'd share that with you. Thank you.
Mayor, I do have one thing.
Okay.
Jimmy Ring spearheaded the National Day of Prayer, and they did a morning session, evening session, and they had to change it because we're gonna have it outside, move it into on the web. They reached 12,000 hits.
Wow.
On that.
Wow, that's amazing. That's the entire population of the city.
That was good. And when they had it out here, we've probably seen a few on the web. Right. But when it started reaching out, the other day they're up to 12,000.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Says something about our community.
Yep, it does. City Attorney. All right. City Administrator.
I do have some things I want to go over with you. Our utilities are now completely out of the way of the State Route 76 widening project. It seemed like it's been forever. I know,
That's until they dig up another one.
Yeah, so Charleston, their deadline was in the middle of May, but now I expect that it's probably gonna get moved to late August, early September. Of course, now it's gonna rain like it has been. That slows them down too, so we hope to get it done before Christmas. We'll see how that goes. The Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund, their representative contacted me and said, hey, Jerry, I think I can renegotiate your rate on our community center that we took a loan out for. And I said, well, what can you do? And so he got it down from a 4.07% interest rate to 2.71. That drop in interest rate will save us $2,108,123 over the life of that loan, and all we need is your approval on resolution 2008. That's why I guess speech on that. We are making really good progress on the parks maintenance building, as you all know. The shell is up, electrical and plumbing rough-in is complete, the concrete floor has been poured. I went out and looked at that yesterday. We still have some finished work. We're gonna do heating and air installation, overhead doors, insulation, asphalt laid for the driveway. But I gotta give kudos to Kevin. He's never done this before, but he's been doing a great job of coordinating this.
What are we gonna do with the $300,000 we're saving?
We're gonna use it for the soccer complex is what we're doing. We already got plans for that. So we're hoping that he can get that building finished up by June. I'll report at the June meeting how what progress was made over the next month.
They're very enthusiastic about doing that. They're proud of their work.
Yeah.
They are.
That's all over.
Yeah, the guys out there just loving it. Because they're doing some of the work themselves, the maintenance crew that's out there. So,
It's a little different than what they do day to day, so.
yeah, they end up with a larger building. They're gonna be able to set
Something
their
they're proud
office
of
in
when
there.
they're finished.
So they're pretty happy about it. They heating and air, they were planning on that before.
There might be a good place for a proclamation there.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I've got another one for you too, but I'll get that for you next month or so. We had pre-construction meeting today for the visitor center exterior renovation, and we've been waiting on this for quite a while, and work is to begin next week. And the project has a 100-day deadline to finish, so sometime around the end of August, it should be wrapped up. I talked to the contractor. He feels it probably could take that long to get it done, with rain days and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes, but they plan on being on the job next week. They're using some local contractors to help do subcontractors. Like Tommy Biggs was in there today. He's going to do the groundwork and for the little expansion they're going to put on the back.
And they're gonna be done in 100 days.
Well, let's hope so.
You were thinking it.
He said he plans on being out there next week with his stuff, so. Another thing I have is the city, I want you to know, the city shares in the cost of the reappraisal of our 2 counties. And this cost is paid by parcel spread out over a 5-year appraisal period. So we have this year about 200 or so residential parcels less on the Robertson County side than we do on the Sumner County side. And we pay Robertson about $1,500 a year for them to do their reappraisals. Sumner County, we've been paying about $11,000. But we just got a letter this week from our county, Sumner County Assessor, John Isbell, telling us that we should budget next year $24,000. He's more than doubling the cost. And I gave you all the letter that he sent us. I'm still trying to figure out what the letter means, but he did give us a letter and just said he's gonna do this. So this is a bit alarming since we never would have expected this amount of an increase, and this notice was given to us after our ordinance was already set. So, we're gonna have to figure out, we'll probably try to do everything we can to absorb that in our general fund budget next year without having to ask for any, budget amendment. I'm hoping by the end of the year. We should be okay, but we're gonna have to absorb this somehow. So I gave you the letter, and since the other cities are all in the same budget approval process, some of them already approved their budgets. I'm sure they're probably shaking their heads wondering what just happened. So the mayor said he's already received a letter from one of the mayors about it, or an email about it. So I'll probably be having some discussions to find out, he made sure he put this was gonna be an estimate, so maybe he's gonna estimate maybe down if he gets some pressure, because I'm not sure why his costs are so much higher than Robertson County costs, let alone double it even on top of that. So we're gonna pay them $1,500, $12,000, paying them $24,000 for pretty much, they're doing the same work. I'm not sure why one would be so much higher on just a few parcel differences.
I still say you will see that challenged.
I hope so.
Just don't tell Robertson County.
Yes, we won't. Yeah, you're right. Memorial Day is upon us, and COVID-19, this great virus, has put a damper on a regular Memorial Day service. Betsy Morris, most of you probably know her. She's Derek's assistant, and she came up with an alternative plan and brought it to my attention. Thought, hey, what about this? I offered some ideas and some suggestions, and then Betsy partnered with Megan from the chamber office, and they created a really nice video to release to the public on Monday to celebrate, or to at least acknowledge and memorialize the soldiers and the warriors that have lost their lives in battle to protect this country. And so I was hoping to be able to show that right now, but they tell me it's still downloading, and maybe by the end of this meeting, we might be able to see a short video clip of what this is. And I want to thank Alderman Bibb and Mayor Arnold for participating in this video. I think it's really important what the two of you had to say to our community. So really good fit in. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you for that time to discuss this.
All right. I didn't have anything to contribute. Ferris did. He's been there. We had a joint study session with the Planning Commission a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And in that Planning Commission meeting, something came out of there. I had an epiphany. Paul Eller was on this, whatever this is called, Zoom. Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's a little bit out of my range. But about amenities in our new developments. So I've asked Jerry, I want to form a committee with Paula, Kevin Whitaker, Kevin's assistant, maybe a member of the Leisure Services Board, to sit down with the new preliminary plans of every new development that comes in. Look at the size of it, the location of it, the potential demographics that's going to buy the homes, and come up with suggestions for the amenities for those developments. As opposed to having a developer come in here and put the same thing in every development that doesn't fit who's living there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a mandate, but we're gonna give them a list of the things that we want.
Yeah.
And I think it may wind up being a mandate in the end. I think if this committee comes to me with some good enough information, that's probably what's gonna be required in those particular developments.
Right. You know, have a plan or two seats, probably needs to be in on that committee.
Yeah.
So you can give them guidance.
And it's funny, I called Segis today and told him that I was thinking about doing that, and he said, I was gonna call you because I thought we needed to get Kevin Whitaker involved in our amenities and our developments. He said, great minds think alike, so I guess they really do. So we'll be bringing that to you guys.
You know, well, I paid attention to what Paul says, I mean.
And that's what she was addressing.
Yeah. I went to Durham place. I want to see how they did parking. Well, they do it about 3 or 4 different ways.
Yes.
And which is really interesting, because each segment of that development is a little bit different, which is smart.
Yep.
And they offer larger homes and bigger lots, and they got different kind of parking there. And they got parking on the streets, and they got little community parking lots.
Yep. Alleyways.
In the alleyways, and it offers some character.
Yep. They make them work. They really do.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they make it work.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious that's what the market wants.
Yeah, well, sure they do. Sure, the developers probably don't like it because it's complicated
Yes.
and probably a little more costly, but it's far more attractive. Those places are far more attractive because of what they do. And in the long run, there'll be some of those places remind me of Midwestern small towns where your houses were all built on small lots and all the parking was on the street. And the streets were wide enough to accommodate shade trees, that sort of rural. It really was kind of enchanting. Small little towns were just really highly desirable place to live. So I think it's a good idea.
I think it's really good.
Yeah. You know, when I was a kid, I lived in Old Hickory. And Old Hickory was designed very similar with alleyways. Of course, they were just gravel alleyways. They weren't like the alleyways that we require to put in today. And everybody's garage sat behind the house.
Yeah.
And your driveway had a strip of concrete where each tire went. There was grass in the center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot more eco-friendly when you look back at it than having all that pervious surface.
Yeah.
So, our forefathers knew a little bit. Anybody got anything else? Alderman Bibb?
That's good.
All right, we need to acknowledge our reports.
Move to acknowledge and file.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Consideration of following resolutions. Resolution 20-07 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of an interest-bearing general obligation water line outlay note, Series 2020, and an amount not to exceed $1,600,000, and providing for the payment of said notes. I need a motion.
Move we approve.
Now, second.
I'll second it.
All right, Jerry?
Yeah, this is pretty much in line with the town center water line. As you know, we need to upsize it. We've talked about this in study sessions and everything, getting a 16-inch line to the center of the city and having 3 private partners involved in this. Valerie's drafted the contract already, and she has sent it to the 3 developers, and they're reviewing it with their attorneys now, you know, and hopefully get some signatures. My plan was to bring the contract, if they all sign it, to the next meeting in June, to go ahead and approve the bond. We'd go ahead and get started on that now. I set this bond up in a way that we can pay it off early. So let's say, for example, it comes in, our minimum was quite a bit less than 1.6 million. If it comes in less than that, we would take anything that we have left over, we would put right back on the principal. And we also have it set up in the contract that there would be liens on the properties for the amount that they would owe us. It would also have a requirement that they share it in the interest cost, because you know, if we went the full 10 years and no one paid it off early, we'd have about $240,000 in interest. So we want to make sure that's distributed amongst those that are still left in it. So for an example, like if a developer decides before even the first interest payment to pay theirs off, they would not have to pay, you know, be a part of the interest that would be shared between the 3 parties that were left. We also have it set up that if they sell the property, it has to be paid, or if they pull their first building permit, it has to be paid. So we've got it pretty well locked down. So if they all 3 agree, we can get moving on it. If for some reason one of them pulls out, we'll have to reassess and figure out what the next step would be. But for right now, that's what we would do. I got to get kind of moving on this because we have the city building is being drawn up. It's supposed to be out for bid in late August, early September. And so I want to make sure that this stays right in track with it, because we're going to need water for our city building that's going to be being built. So I figure if we do this now, we get the contract approved by this board for me to enter into an agreement in June, then we can start probably having I'll get CSR to give us a contract for the cost of of designing the plans, and then hopefully maybe get that contract in June too, so that we can start designing in July. I'm sure it's going to take 2 or 3 months to design it. You know, then you got to get easements, because there have to be easements that may have to be purchased to bring the water line through and stuff. So we really need to get going on it now so it doesn't get delayed too long. So that's really all I have on that. So thank you, Mayor.
All right, I got some comments on that. There's 4 entities involved in this. All 4 of them could probably service their particular project with an 8-inch water line. So if we can do this, or we can let everybody take care of their own water, which would mean everybody's going to run an 8-inch water line at your own cost, which is going to wind up being considerably more than this total for all partners involved. But I can assure you, White House Utility District is not going to let all 4 people do that. Somebody's going to have to run this line. And if all 4 people do that, it's not going to help us get more water to the east side of White House. It's just not going to do it. It's going to take this large transmission line to do that. For years, we've sat here as a board and said, we want this town center developed. Well, I didn't have this mindset 2 months ago, and you know that because you called me and said you felt like I threw you under the bus. That being our mindset, we're going to spend $400,000 to $500,000, maybe $6, to get water for our building right here that we're going to have. So we're going to spend a pretty good chunk of change. In my opinion, at this point, if the rest of them pulled out, found a legal way out, if we want to develop this town center, it is in our vision to get that water here to do that. If we pay $600,000 for water for our building and the rest of it goes to future economic development, so be it. It's either that or we forget about a town center development and redo our comprehensive plan and change everything. So that's been our vision for a long time. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you. I think we need to do this one way or the other at this point.
Yes,
But if they have got an agreement, which I'm sure Valerie has got a very solid agreement, and they're willing to sign it and pay their part of it, and we get our water and we get our economic development, we would be very remiss not to do that.
The opportunity, you can't let that opportunity
No.
get away from you.
And I didn't have that mindset, and Cliff will tell you that 2 months ago, I did not. At that time, I didn't know we needed water. So, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2008 is a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond and loan agreement, modification agreement, amending that certain $10 million local government loan program bond, Series 2019, City of White House loan, issued by the Public Building Authority of the City of Clarksville, Tennessee, and that certain loan agreement dated May 1st, 2019, entered into by the city in connection with the TBA loan. I need a motion.
Move that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and I'm going to discuss this before you do.
Okay.
When Jerry called me about this, I just shake my head at the work that this man does. He has had a ton on him with this debacle. And this right here, and then this blows me away that this agreement was dated May 1st, 2019. It's already been over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's already been over a year.
Right.
And he has refinanced this. Did you cut the term?
No, we kept the term
Kept the term the same. We're saving $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
This more than pays for this water line. We're saving $2 million on this loan because he got this thing refinanced. John Jerry, I'll let you discuss that.
That's all I have to say, really. I already sold it to you in my comments, so I think it's a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
He earned his salary for a couple more years.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He probably earned a bonus if we could give him.
Anybody have any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2009 is a resolution to annex certain territories and incorporate same within the corporate boundaries of the City of White House, Tennessee. First reading. I need a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Discussion. See, just
Hey, guys, this is, Mr. Riddle's property is on Pleasant Grove, as you see, just just south of Holly Tree. He's gonna, create 3 lots, which will come in as R20. He's gonna put 3 houses on there. He'll have 1 entry point, to those houses. The requirement that I had, requested that the planning commission put as a stipulation is that the surveyors show that driveway easement on the plat before we record it.
okay. So you're just allowing 1 driveway to front on Pleasant Grove Road.
Correct, on those R20 lots.
Right. Good idea.
In your book, it's parcel 100, and right now there's some structures on there. There's a modular home and a garage, so that would be removed, and it would be replaced with 3 nice-looking homes along that road. So
I think it works out to be 300-foot wide lots.
something like that, yeah.
All right. Any other discussion? Thanks, Regis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consideration of the following ordinances. Ordinance 20-07 is ordinance amending the zoning map from I-1 light industrial to Ncrpud, neighborhood center residential plan unit development on Sage Road. Second reading. I need a motion.
I move that we approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. I'm sure there's going to be some discussion on this.
As if you remember, I know that Jesus will probably pipe in here. This time he did add the planned unit development in your packet so you could see it and spend some time looking at it. Jesus, do you have anything else you'd like to add to this?
No, again, I'll just reiterate the fact that this, lot was zoned, I-1 light industrial going to the Ncrpud. They'll have the 46, attached townhouses and the, single-family, detached homes that they will all have the 35-foot setbacks, with the driveways that we'd be happy with.
There's commercial in the front parcel, right?
Yes. But now the commercial is not part of the PUD. If you can look at the site plan, the commercial will be in front of it, but it's the only properties are those two large lots that were industrial that are changing.
Any other discussion?
So where's the commercial?
Right on Sage Road.
It's right on Sage Road, that first corner.
Yeah, on Sage.
Okay.
I can't read the size of it.
So they've got some single family and some townhouses.
Yes. And they'll be,
Sage Road, going east off Sage Road, is that Madeline Way?
Yes.
No?
It's right at the Crossroads Medical Center.
Yeah,
which-
Crossroads Medical.
Which is Madeline Way.
Yeah.
there'll also be a access point into, Hampton Village.
Right.
Through Westchester?
Yeah.
How's that being received by the people that live in Hampton Village?
I had the citizen that lives where that easement is. When he saw the stakes in the ground, he came into my office. He was not happy about it, but again, he understood that. I mean, I'm not speaking for how he feels about this, but he did understand that it could be a light industrial facility behind him as well. But again, he wasn't happy with the potential for the traffic and the surface of the roads, and he knew he mentioned the roads needed work, and I told him that the city had that on the radar to resurface coming up. But that was the concern that the citizen had about the potential traffic coming through the neighborhood.
And you only had one?
Yeah.
In Hampton Village, we're hoping to be able to pave that this fall.
Right.
We had a room full tonight of our planning commission. The developer did agree to put a thicker landscape buffer around between the houses of, Orchard Park,
Orchard
back up to Hampton Village, just so to give us some more separation.
It's got a future connector down here on the bottom of it. Is that the Sage?
The next, into the next piece of property.
That would be in the next piece of property. We're pretty much on every development brought in anymore where it's got a farm or vacant land, we're making them leave some kind of connection. That's why that one is there going into Hampton Village. We make them leave that.
Trying to figure out where this one goes.
Yeah, just come further down that field.
Which one? I don't see where you're talking about, John.
Right down the
Right
bottom.
on.
Oh, right there, it says future connection. Off of that, there curved road there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would take it into that. And you have to keep in mind that the Ncrpud is, the Wheeler family has asked for it to be the whole parcel, which is now, light industrial. And so it does not only include just this particular PUD, this planned unit development, it also includes the whole property. So, so it could continue to be developed with more additional houses. And that's probably why that future road is there.
But this zoning classification gives us say-so over how it's developed.
Oh, absolutely, yes, sir.
Correct. It allows, again, that flexibility of how we design it.
Right.
I've just got concerns over the size of Sage Road, and it's gonna be the same thing as what I'm dealing with over where I live. You got a tiny road and,
No, I don't think so. We've already widened Sage Road.
well, to that point, but if they come on around the curve,
We are.
That's that's in design now, and I got money set aside in the budget for next year to finish that design, to take us all the way down to Cardinal. So so once we get that design, then we'll probably be putting in to get that widened all the way down and straighten out that curve intersection of Cardinal.
we'll go all the way to 31, or?
Eventually it will.
Eventually it will.
And if you've noticed, Cumberland Electric this week has been moving the poles on either side of 31 at McCurdy, Sage for the turn lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, this is gonna be widened all the way.
Sage Road is pretty much gonna be the next future bypass like Raymond Hirsch is, up for the south side of town.
These townhomes are gonna be how many per, two units per building?
No, it looks like there's one. Some of them, they look like they have 5 units in each of the buildings. Some of them down at the bottom have a little less than connected buildings, yes.
So what's the difference between a townhome and an apartment?
Well,
Ownership.
that's part of it, and, these, I believe are gonna they have 35-foot setbacks for driveways and garages. They're probably most likely have garages with,
Yeah, they have garages, and the design of these buildings, I don't know if the elevations are, shown, but they have they're hardy and brick all around.
commercial apartments are too,
Right.
but that's been a difference, and you don't have multiple layers like as you, planning commission just looked at with a 200 unit, which was gonna be 3 levels up, everybody stacked together, and, yeah, different in that regard.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Bebb?
Aye.
Alderman Corbett? No. Alderman Decker?
Aye.
Alderman Hudson?
Aye.
Mayor Arnold?
Aye. Ordinance 20-08, an ordinance amending the municipal code, Title 18, Chapter 3, sewer rates, fees, and charges, Sections 18-301 and 18-302. This is first reading. I need a motion.
Move we approve.
A second.
I'll second it.
I wanted to say Joe Moss, but I can't do that.
No, this pretty much has to do with our 3% increase, to keep us, straight with the state as far as our revenues to our expenditures. And, we did, have, a couple of minor changes that we wanted to make that we came across because of this COVID-19 issue and a couple of people being late on their payments. So we came up with a couple of issues that we found in our code that we needed to correct. And one of them has to do with the utility service can only be reestablished through the application process of such utility service. We didn't want to say on closed accounts because we weren't actually closing accounts. When somebody had their water turned off, we required them to come in and pay their full bill. So let's say they owed us $700. They had to pay the full thing, even though we let them go up to almost a $500 credit. They were really stuck now. They're like, how am I gonna do that? And we weren't really closing their accounts, and it says that we were requiring them to, if their water was turned off, to come in and reapply for service. And then they had to, and there was the credit check and all that too that goes with it. So they not only had to pay what everything they owed us, plus they had to pay for a new application fee, and they had to pay for this credit check thing. So it was really cumbersome, and on a few people that really were struggling because they recently lost their jobs or whatever. So we decided that we need to remove the closed accounts because we weren't really closing their accounts because that was not accurate. And so then we go over to the next section under application fee, and we removed it. The section says if all current charges are paid in full. So what we decided to do, that if they come in and they're stuck, they would just have to pay enough to get them back under the $500 cap instead of paying the entire amount, which made it easier for them. I did let a couple of them do that, anyways, so we could get their water turned back on because they really were struggling. And we just felt like we wanted to make sure we changed the ordinance so that I felt like what I was doing was gonna be okay, and straight on board with the law. So, that's all we're asking for on it, and I think that'll be helpful to our community.
You probably saved some loans.
But I can tell you right now, when I get calls from a woman that is not able to go to work because of a debacle,
Yeah.
and she's got 3 small children at home, and we've turned her water off, and I know that statewide and nationwide utility districts are waiving that, but we're doing it. I didn't want to be on Channel 5 News.
No.
So anyways, we're hoping that this is okay with you all, and then that's really all I have to say on that ordinance.
All right, any other discussion?
So the rate increases,
That's state mandated.
there's been buzz and, you guys up to 3% last year and you're doing it again.
No, we didn't last year, did we?
Last year we did, we went up
The
6%
year
last
before
year,
we
because the year before we didn't.
Right.
And that's why we're in this pickle.
Yeah, I know, I wanna make sure everybody understands, our hands are a bit
Yeah.
tied here.
I think what you'll find with the other utility companies, it's not automatic, you don't even see it. They're doing the cost of living or whatever, they're doing those increases. But, you know, with our sewer department, which basically covers our sewer, sanitation, you know, and stormwater, it's more of a challenge because you all have to answer as public a little bit closer than DMC does or some of these other
With all new
utilities.
development, I mean, you know, why do we keep going up? And so I make sure that.
Well, our costs are going up, and not only that, but, you know, we have to be able to provide, as the growth comes in, we have to be able to provide adequate sewer capacity at our plant and be able to treat all that sewage that's coming in there. And you're talking about, you know, we had to double the size of our treatment plant. We spent this year over $1 million over the last 2 years in engineering fees to upsize that plant. So we spent a lot of money. We're gonna borrow probably another $15 million so that we can get that constructed. So it costs, it just costs us a lot of money. We unfortunately don't have water to offset that cost.
Right.
You know, to help make up the difference. But so it is a burden on our community. I fully understand that, but we felt that this is the only way we can keep up and to meet the state's requirement. It's not a state mandate, but it's a state requirement that we make sure that our revenues are exceeding our expenditures year over year over year. And the only way we can do it is either through growth or through an increase. And this, the recommendation from NCRPud that we had was to keep us on track would be about a 3% increase every year. Keep us on track.
And for the people that are telling you that, John, development number one, the new growth, the property taxes.
Right.
Don't cover the cost of services.
Right.
And we very rarely have a tax increase.
Right.
But services go up every day.
Right.
Our wages go up, everything that our employees buy to do their jobs goes up, but we don't raise our taxes. And the property taxes do not cover the growth anyway. They don't cover the services. Now, the only way we're gonna come close to covering them is with density. You gotta have more of them in one spot because it's cheaper on us.
Yeah, that's what these townhouses will offset.
Exactly, exactly.
But that's one of the arguments then against the
Oh, I know.
the growth is that you have an upsized sewer because of all these homes, we didn't want them to begin with, and now we're paying for it, so.
We're not upsizing sewer.
Or he just.
We're upsizing the treatment plant.
Right.
The treatment plant, yeah.
Yeah, but the developers nowadays, we'll let them do the line.
Generally, we let them pay, you know, that we do capital.
And we get money back from them per lot, capital recovery costs.
And our tap fee is $2,500, you know, a tap, and
Right.
so there are ways that we try to collect those funds, but, you know, as the mayor is saying, so, you know, some cities would dump their own general fund money into the utilities,
Right.
sometimes to help them out, you can do that, but we haven't raised property taxes since 2013. Before that, it was 20 years before that, so.
It's a mark of stability for your citizens,
Yeah.
that particular thing.
I'm not disagreeing with it, you know,
Yeah.
If we do try to plow some of that cost in another fashion, we'd end up like, my kids lived in a small town in Michigan, and the houses are not real large, and they're $2,500 a year for
Yeah,
taxes.
yep.
And didn't really have much any other kind of services, and I think that we're real smart to elevate the cost. The incremental charge of refuse is coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
The incremental charge for that, you can't go for $18 to get recycling and.
Curbside?
No.
No, you sure can't, you can't do that. And-
Plus brush pickup?
And once a week,
Yeah, plus brush pickup?
plus trash, plus brush pickup.
Plus being able to go out twice, a year and dump big items out there at our plant, or pay only $35 for us to come pick it up and take it out there.
It's
We offer a pretty good deal when it comes
It's an
to
incredible bargain,
sanitation.
and it's not plowed into the, property tax.
Right, it's not in the general fund, it's not.
And I'll give you this little tidbit with what Jerry was speaking of, our capital recovery costs, which is a per lot.
Mhm.
Our tap fees, which are per lot, are considerably more than any other city around here. And I work with developers every day, and I hear that, and I know that.
Yeah.
But Joe Moss set this up in a quiet, roundabout way that nobody even knew was coming until they had to pay it. He did, that was, and we're gonna leave it right there.
Yeah. Talk about the developers.
Yeah, or we can put it on their back as opposed to people who are paying their sewer bill.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he,
And that's
yeah.
what Joe did, and it's I'm gonna tell you, it's a healthy fee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and, you know,
in
just like,
addition to that, Jim, we were 16 million down because of faulty engineering and a whole bunch of things in our, and had overhauled our sewer. And how long we've been working on that?
right,
Years.
Ever since I can remember.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, ever since I was mayor.
yeah.
Any other questions?
So what Joe did for us.
Was really good for us.
Oh, yeah.
was really good for us. What a
Yep.
bargain.
And we didn't hear about it because it basically went to the developers, it's
Yeah,
on them.
He knew how to do it, he knew how to do it a bunch of ways.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ordinance 2009 is an ordinance amending the Municipal Code Title 17, Chapter 1, Refuge Section 17-113. First reading, I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Have a second.
Second.
All right.
I think we already discussed, we just got
Pretty
done
much.
talking about the sanitation, so I think we're ready to go on that.
We did, but I don't think we went up enough.
Well, we're still short, our expenditures are still exceeding
That's
our
still-
revenues. We've been tapping into fund balance for the last several years, and as you well know, I had to cut out the maintenance building again that Joe's was trying to get for several years, because we're not bringing in enough income and our tipping fees are going up. They went up quite a bit this year for Robertson County, and our recycling tipping fees have gone up significantly compared to what, the early days. We got money, now we pay money to get rid of people's recyclables. And all the cities around us are doing it. I just was asked the other day by another one of the city managers in the state. We have a bulletin board that we use, you can ask a question and you can respond, and they're all doing the same. They're all like, should I stop my curbside recycling for recycling because it's costing me money? And you know, they're all concerned with us, and what are we supposed to do? And I'm like, this might be a wave that we gotta ride out a little bit, but you can't get $18 service like we're getting, if you're in the county, you build out in the county, you're gonna pay $24, $25, $26 for a once a week
That's
pickup.
why I'm
and
saying,
that's
I'm not
recycled.
sure that we're doing enough, because I'm afraid at some point in time, mid-fiscal year, you may see those tipping fees go up at the counties, or you may see our recycling fees reduced even further, and we have to dip into that general fund balance to
Right.
cover it. I just don't think we did enough.
How much of an increase would you need to break even?
Well, finance told me probably about $20. We'd have to go $3
Go $3 to break even,
to about break even.
or $1.
Right, if we can keep if we had the maintenance building still in the pot, we would have to bring it up to 20.
If this were an area that was regulated by the state like the sewer, we'd be raising it.
Yeah, oh yeah, because we'd already been in trouble.
Yeah.
We've already been before the board.
Yep.
It's an expensive pacifier, because it doesn't do much recycling wise. People think it's all recycled and magically turned into some fairy dust that we use all the stuff back again and it's cheaper, but,
No, it's not.
we sell it to China and they dump it in the ocean.
Pretty much.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ordinance 2010 is an ordinance adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st,
Mike,
2020.
was that last one the second reading?
First.
Oh.
Through June
Okay.
30th, 2021. First reading. Need a motion?
I move that we approve.
Have a second.
Second.
Well, we spent quite a bit of time in a budget session on it. We haven't changed anything, so we've left it the same. So unless you have any questions, Jason's in the room there, he can answer, or I can answer. We're willing to have that conversation.
Jason Ferris wants to know if he needs to raise taxes.
No, sir.
Can I?
These guys agree.
I don't think you can do it alone. Yes, sir, I believe you can have a part in it.
Oh.
That's a clever answer, thank you.
All right, any other discussion?
No, but he can pay more if he wants to.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he can
Write a check.
Make donations.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 2011 is an ordinance to amend the zoning map from Sumner County AG2 Agriculture to R20 General Commercial for property 3351 Pleasant Grove Road, first reading.
That,
Is that general commercial?
that should be residential,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not Sumner County, it's Robertson.
I get that. Ordinances, it says Robertson County, and I didn't
Mine
catch
says
that.
Robertson.
Yeah,
Mine says Sumner.
well, on the actual,
Oh.
agenda,
Yeah.
I mean, on the
Agenda, it's still wrong.
Well, we know what it is. It's a property that wants to build 3 houses.
Yeah.
yes, that's what it is.
All right. I need a motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Purchasing items. To approve or reject city administrator entering into a 5-year agreement with Blackline Technology for IT services. Human Resources Director recommends approval. I need a motion.
Move approved.
We have a second.
Second.
Jerry?
Well, and the reason why why the HR director recommends approval is because that's where we have the IT assigned to. You know, years ago, we laid off during the recession, IT person, so we've been going out and contracting for IT services, which is very important because, you know, all the cyber attacks that occur in cities is just overwhelming. The number of emails that I get that come in that are specifically to me, they know, you know, that obviously they see who's in charge of the city, and I get emails that look, I mean, like they're legit. You know, I had one that came in here today about a $7,000 wire that was wired to us, and it looked like a legitimate email, the guy's name, the phone number. I called them and called this guy, said, hey, you know, and he said, oh man, they hacked into our system, you know, and they're sending out these requests, these wire transfer things, and I'm like, well, we're not transferring any $30,000 to you for some tractor equipment that we're not buying. And so I get these things all the time. So it's important that we have good cybersecurity and good IT on our system. I say all that to say that our Black Lion contract that we've had really good success with, it was ready to expire. And, you know, we're required to go for an evaluation through our RFP process, which we did do that. We had multiple
And they are local.
companies.
They are local.
They are local. They had several companies that came in, and we had our committee of folks that scored it. And Amanda, I'll let you take over from here.
The committee looked at all of the proposals. We did actually have 9 that came in. Excuse me. Given our history with Black Lion and seeing all of the services and comparing them evenly across the board, we felt like that Black Lion would be the best choice for us. As the mayor said, they are a local company. One of the things that is a benefit for us as employees with a local company with this is we've had times where things have just gone down in City Hall completely, and I can pick up the phone, or any of us can, and call Jason or Scott with Black Lion, and they can be here, typically are here within 10 or 15 minutes to correct the issue. That's been a huge benefit for us on more than probably a dozen cases over the last 5 years.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to add, Amanda, is the integrity of the process. We have a system that the purchasing department provides for us. Each member of the committee is assigned the stack of, you know, RFPs that came in, and they're individually scored prior to going into a meeting together where the scores are tabulated. So, so when the scores are tabulated, this is how it came out, and, you know, with all these that we had to review, they came out the highest, and that speaks for itself with when you have, like, was there 5 or 6 of us on the committee?
There were 5 of us.
We would do the budget items. We all have a vote and then tabulate it.
Yeah, that's
Good way to do it.
a good way to do it. It seems to work, so, we would recommend Black Lion Technology to
It's a
continue.
great day.
Let me ask you a question. When's the first time we used them?
That would be an Amanda question.
We actually switched to them in July of 2015.
When's the first time we contacted them?
I actually spoke with Jason on the phone on July 1st of 2015.
We contacted them when Clark Beckham came here.
Did we need them for
Did
something
we?
like
Yep, I remember meeting with them.
that? Okay.
All right. Sounds like you've done your homework. Yes, sir. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. To approve or reject city administrator entering into a 5-year agreement with Willis Towers Watson for insurance broker services. Human Resources Director recommends approval. I need a motion.
I move to approve.
Have a second.
I want Amanda to take this one.
Amanda?
So we use the same process for evaluating the broker services as we did for the IT services. We had 11 proposals come in for this. There were 5 of us on that committee, excuse me, and after tabulating all the scores and having a discussion, we felt that Willis Towers Watson would be the best fit for our city going forward. Looking at any future growth and given the size of their organization, we felt that they would be the best fit and be able to provide us with the best services in the next 5 years.
I know you guys did a lot of legwork on this. I was not involved in this, didn't want to be, still don't want to be. But I know you had a committee that did this and did the spreadsheet. And looking at it, it looks like them and Highland, our current broker, were very close on the spreadsheet.
Yes, sir.
And I know how difficult it is to make a change, but you feel like this change is worth making.
Yes, sir, I do. One of the things that is beneficial about Willis Towers Watson for us is that they are a much larger organization. They have an entire legal team. They also have their own department that actually looks at our claims and comes up with what they believe our increases should be from year to year versus just having to go based on what the insurance providers are giving us. So the insurance provider may come back and say, okay, we're going to give you a 10% increase, whereas what Willis Towers Watson can do is look at our claims and say, based on what we've analyzed, our actuarial department has stated that, you know, your increase needs to be more like 5%. And that gives us more negotiating powers with the individual insurance companies for all of our renewals in the future.
Okay.
And I'll add too that, you know, just because I was concerned, because, you know, I'm another one that's traditionalist, and if you got something that seems to be working for you, why change? So I did require the broker to come in along with the client, the reps that would be actually speaking with our HR department on a regular basis. And we're trying to resolve issues we have with claims for our employees and their families. And so I got to meet the team. There was 3 of them that came in, and we drilled them pretty good, and I felt pretty comfortable that they would provide the services that we would be looking for.
Well, I noticed on your spreadsheet, they were within a couple of percentage points after all of you evaluated them. And there were a couple of questions that they were as much as 5 percentage points difference in the 2. Were the questions weighted equally, or were some of them weighted more heavily?
I believe that the questions are weighted equally.
They're all 100 available points, it's 100 points.
Okay.
All equally.
Okay, then everything balanced itself out then.
Mm-hmm. Pretty close,
It's just a close contest.
Less than 2%.
A lot of work with a lot of different companies. Good job.
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm not seeing any other business other than I got a folder full of stuff to sign. No discussion items.
We're ready for the video if you don't mind.
We have a video that Jerry wants y'all to see, so y'all stick around.
Yeah, I need to turn the lights on.
We got popcorn. Who's got the popcorn?
Popcorn. I'll turn it, let me turn the lights off just to see that better.
Who is in the corner of the picture up there?
That is Tom Harrison. Todd Harrison.
I thought it was Josh Evans.
Oh,
Like he doesn't find space for a UPS store.
Doesn't it look like him?
yeah.
1 second.
And there was another guy under him a while ago, Bob Ritchie.
Was he?
Yeah, who was that?
Do not know.
That's Kid Rock.
The internet is being very slow right now. So the video that I'm going to show you is going to be posted on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's going to be pushed out. Yeah, it should. It's just-
Derek has done a wonderful job keeping me connected with all the meetings I have to go through Zoom, which are numerous meetings anymore, where we do it, I stay here and I go in the conference room, I spend a lot of time in the conference room on the phone or in video chatting with different folks. But, if we can get the video going, he'll be my hero of the day.
How did these people get on the screen?
They're calling into the Zoom, they.
So anybody can get,
Well,
You have to, if they have a link, they can get in.
Who do we send the link to?
I know we shared it to Todd, CJS may have shared it, but also there was a request for, IT. So he could have been an IT person that wanted to just watch it.
Does our local media, could you pick anything like this up?
No, it would be, we required anybody that wanted to come to the meeting to go to the auditorium and watch it live there. We just didn't open up the Zoom to just anybody, because, we're still trying to get used to it.
I got it.
You got it?
He told me to turn it down.
Try and get it, see how I can see it. All right.
Sergeant Joel Brisson with the White House Police Department. I am a U.S. veteran, served with the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault at Fort Campbell, Kentucky from 2002 to 2014. I was a forward observer with the 3rd and 320th Artillery Rocket Science. Memorial Day should be taken lightly because it's a day to remember those who perished, that fought for this country and fought for me and you and our children and our grandchildren and the future. It is imperative for us not only as a nation, but as a community of supporting military service and continue to honor our brothers and sisters who have given their all for this great nation in which we live.
My name is Ferris Bibb, and I've been an alderman of the city of White House since May of '91, and it's just been an honor to me and a privilege to get to serve this city for that length of time. I spent a little over 9 years in the military. I went in February of '68, and I stayed in till '76. Since I spent the time in the Army, I didn't go into a combat zone, but I had a lot of friends that did. I had some that didn't come back from it, and quite a few did. But like I told my sons, I have 2 sons. My oldest spent 3 years in the Army and got out, and my youngest one's been in 19 years. Got to see his share of combat duty, but one thing I told them both when they went in, I said, you go in the military, you'll never come back out the same person, because it changes you. It changes your outlook, and one of those outlooks is what this country is honoring now is the veterans. Because there's people that went out, normal, everyday people like you'll see in the market or store, and they went into a foreign country, and they fought there so that we could keep the freedom and rights we have here today. It's just, Memorial Day is like, it's a day to memorialize those people that have paid that ultimate sacrifice. And not along with them, but their families and their friends and the ones that have supported them and, kind of stood with them as they did their service. And I thank you for this opportunity.
Arnold. I am the mayor of the city of White House. Memorial Day. Memorial Day is a celebration of life and death. Some 1.1 million Americans have given their life for this country. This Memorial Day, we're not going to have our normal celebration. We'll celebrate it on our own terms, not through our own choosing, but we have to remember the men and women who've sacrificed for this country. I'm not a veteran of any branch of the military, so I can't speak for veterans, but I can speak for the veterans' families because I have a son who's currently in the military and he's been there for 8 years, and I know what it's like to lay in bed at night and wonder, where, how are they doing? Are they alive? So I do have a vested interest in Memorial Day. It is one of my favorite holidays. Thank you for the opportunity to commemorate this holiday with you. I thank all of our veterans. God bless you. God bless this city. God bless the United States of America.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing, fly. Scarce heard aim the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep through poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Good.
That's great, Jerry.
I bet that's the only poetry Brisson's ever read. What do you bet?
I'll say one thing else to the White House.
Yeah. I thought that was secret.
Yeah, but never do. Never do. Because that's how we're gonna end it.
It does make a few notable changes.
Okay, sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I said we've got, because of mine, like I said, we've got one of the quaint, modest, small veteran memorial park, but it's beautiful.
Yes, we do.
All right, that being said, I'd like to thank Betsy and Megan, Derek's guidance for putting that together. We're adjourned. Looks like Derek